Ah,
Yeah. 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Bing, bang,
twinkle,
bang, bang,
twinkle,
boom,
twinkle,
ba-ding,
twinkle,
dong.
twinkling on a guitar.
Yes, a ding, dong, 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 bing, a bang, bang. Oh, sorry.
Uh, Hello, ladies and ladies. It's only women that watch this show. And welcome to Nobody Asked. Ah, yeah. Oh my God! I hope they play the classics tonight. Oh no! I actually looked at the set list online, and that they're refusing to do their hits. Oh, okay. Nobody asked. Jesus Christ. With Maria.
Hello, it is me.
She's a freaking lumberjack. She's cutting
Sometimes.
look at all the trees behind her. They're all gonna be dead.
Chop, 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 chop. No,
Chop chop.
I keep the cheese. I keep them. I keep them. I like them.
And Colin. He's Jesus is what he is.
But you look real beautiful. I
But I
love
look
your.
real beautiful. You love what now?
I love sort of the golden tones you've taken on today. It looks lovely. It's lovely.
Thank
Also,
you.
your hair's very shiny. It looks nice.
It's daylight savings happened, and now there's sun coming from the window, and God, do I look good in some sunlight? Okay.
Ooh, natural lighting.
I think it's why I
Beautiful.
never really did well at college parties. So little light. And I did so well in the morning. Oh my goodness. Couldn't beat them off with a stick. Women were like, oh my gosh, it's 8 a.m. And I love Colin. That's what happened.
Hmm.
Can't rewrite history, not unless you're the Republican Party. Today,
What?
today, we're discussing child labor laws. What? But those were figured out like a century ago, approximately. No, 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 no.
Tired of those young
Actually,
whippersnappers not pulling their weight.
actually, and you know what's crazy is that it wasn't even the children that were arguing against them originally. It was the unions. Oh, we destroyed the unions, didn't we? Whoopsies. Oops, we
Whoop.
destroyed the unions. Ouch. Ouch, my bones. Oh, oops. I signed something that voids the company of liability in the case of an accident. Due to, all right, we're going too far down that strand. We're watching
Oh.
talk about child labor. Oh, nobody asked.
Yeah, chose my baby. I say the same
We've
thing
got
every time.
some things to talk about. We've got some life updates. Actually, I don't know if we do. We didn't talk about it before we went on, but we'll talk about it now. The show is organic. Nothing is contrived. Um,
Sweet.
but first, uh, but first, today's episode is brought to you by your local workers union.
Ooh.
Your local workers union. Your local workers union.
Come on, unions are important. That's why we have 40-hour workdays ish. And
It,
why children can't work anymore
man, they keep fucking taking away
ish.
things from us, dude. I could not believe when my supposedly forward thinking nonsense post college job where they've got cold brew in the fucking office. Oh, we got cold brew. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Barbie. We got cold brew in the fucking office. Oh, we got beers in the fridge. We're a modern working environment. And then I show up. I'm like, oh, baby, working a 9 to 5, making a paycheck, bringing home the bacon. And they're like, 9 to 5? No, because we're required to give you a lunch. So actually, you work 9 to 6 now. And then they say
Boo!
under their breath, yeah, enjoy your fucking cold brew, bitch. That's what they said. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. It was very rude. And
Indeed. The
that
rudest.
boss's name,
Chris.
Elon Musk.
Oh, I was just making up a name. I didn't know what his name was.
Chris. No, Chris is my friend.
Oh, I
My
thought it was a different
friend
Chris.
who needs to look up the weather every day to make sure he doesn't get blown into the Atlantic Ocean. That's Chris.
Yes. He's a wisp. He's a wispy boy.
He's a wisp. He I don't know why that got me so good. Very funny to describe someone as a wisp, and I got to write it down. I've been working on my crowd work with the old audiences,
Sure.
And you got to come up with funny things to call people, right? But you don't want to be mean, you don't want to be like, hey, you fatty McFatterson, because that historically people don't like that. So
They
don't
don't.
do that. That's just some free comedy advice from me, a comedy aficionado. And but you know what you could call someone is a wisp. That is that's a funny thing to say.
It sounds like it could be racist, but also it doesn't. It's not though. So you're sort of
no.
confused by it.
See,
You're
now I'm worried about
confused.
people thinking it's racist. Now I gotta only call white people it.
Obviously.
Unbelievable. Oh man. So how's life, Mom?
I gotta say, I had a weird start to the day right off from jump. So I sometimes get on Instagram, right? First thing before I even climb out of bed and check the chats because I got many group chats going. So I'm checking my group chats and I'm like, okay. Ooh, this is very active right now. Everybody's on right now. Oh, okay. Well, let me get up. So I get up and I head to the bathroom to pee, and I've somehow hit the button on Instagram that starts a group phone call, a group video call. And of course, because it was an active chat, so everybody jumps on this call, and I'm in the middle of peeing, and I can't seem to figure out how to hang up the call. And I can hear sound coming out. Hey, what's up? I'm like, oh shit, I'm on the toilet right now, and I accidentally started a phone call, not a phone call, a video call. So I'm just trying to direct my phone at this point since I can't seem to shut off the call in another direction away from me, because I can't stop peeing. I am actively peeing. So that's how my day started. Was in a nice community bathroom situation.
Wow, it's amazing how similarly our day started.
Oh, okay.
Anything else happen in your life?
Well, I just discovered that I can put my ring light over my microphone. So now it makes my teeth look like they glowing. Look at that. Okay, that's not really exciting, but
it's pretty fun.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Pretty nice. I'm wrapping I'm wrapping a one of these, with the inches.
What is the object?
What?
What's the object you're wrapping?
Oh yes, I'm wrapping a golf ball
in
it, and I'm happy to report that a golf ball is
No. Not OnlyFans. Not OnlyFans.
Guys, focus here, okay? We can't have another off the rails podcast like last week, okay? Last week I was water. I think people heard. This week I'm water again. It was so fun. It's 5 3/4 inches. That's way more than I thought.
Circumferences are weird.
Hey man, that's what I've always said. Guys, I'm water. I've maintained it for a full week. Hey, yesterday I lost it for just a fucking second, and it was and it sucked because this whole week as a meme, I just kept telling people I was water. I mean, I got off our podcast last week in such a freaking good mood. Just like, you know what? I'm water forever now. You know when you make life changes in one day and they stick, and
no.
And then me either, but they've stuck for a week, and just constantly people are like, people asking me things. People are like, hey, are you cool if we go to a mountain right now, some shit like that? And I'm like, I'm water, baby. I'll go to a mountain. Most of me comes from mountains, so that's really cool. I can go back to where I'm from, water, and not salt water, just to be clear.
Sure.
And so just vibe city. went to Montreal, did some snowboarding. So I kind of slid down. I'm not even in Canada. I'm balling in New York. Still got that water. Still on that
brought
water
the vibe.
thing.
He brought the vibe home.
Ellie's home. Yo, what's good? It's Ellie. She's really enjoying that I'm water.
Did she just chuckle?
A small chuckle because I think yesterday I came home and I was a little not water, but we're water right now, and really what matters more than the present, the past and the future. But good third place, the present. So yeah, I was water all week, vibing. I went to a mountain north of Montreal. I did some snowboarding, which was really fun. Got to slide down some cold, hard, water. And my brethren, Colin lived in water for 9 months. That's a little science fact.
The more you know.
Cool.
It was more like 10 months with Colin, just to be clear. It was
more like 10 months. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's for, I'm going to get on a tangent here, but I'm writing a book where the birth of Jesus is involved in the book. And one of the elements is that the term of Jesus is like 10 months and 2 weeks. And it's just weird. Anyway, that's its own thing. Doesn't matter. I was water. I was snowboarding. Figured out. Dude, I had such a good time. And then we were driving back from Montreal, and the last half of the drive back, my friend asked me to take the reins, take the wheel, so to speak. And I've always been a guy that's super laid back on the road. When people cut me off, when people don't use turn signals, when people drive BMWs, it never bugs me. And
BMWs specifically?
They're dicks. So, but it's all good. It's all good. I was straight chilling. Okay. Because whenever something bugged me, what did my brain say? It was like, yeah, you're bugged, but you're also water. So I'm liking that you're so we're good. And then we were in a car with 4 people, and it had so many bags in it. The suspension is a little low. What are you going to do? So I'm really trying to avoid potholes here. And we have the backseat driver of all backseat drivers in, the back seat. So he's driving, and he's back there, and he's got fucking comments. Okay. He's got opinions on Colin's driving. And, do I have a thing about my driving? Do I have a thing where I really want to be good at it? Yes. So he's got these fucking opinions, and I'm driving, and I avoid a pothole, and then another one pops out, comes out of nowhere from under a different vehicle. I hit that pothole, but I had just swerved. Then I hit the pothole. It's all good, baby. It's gravy. Sometimes we hit potholes, okay? But this fucking wonderful gentleman who had other positive qualities, which I accept and embrace, also thought it would be a good idea to say, wow, the driving's getting pretty jittery up there. Maybe Ford should put in this is what he fucking said. Okay. Am I editorializing? Only in the tone. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe Ford should have some like minimum jitter tolerance so that we're not, I was like, what? Do you think that was a jitter? We hit a pothole, dude. And I feel like I had been so water. See, people expect this aggression from me because I'm so not water. But because I'd been water, and this guy met me this week, he's like, Colin's, as far as he knows, I've been water my whole life. Now, my other 2 friends, they know who I am. I'm broken. And so in a good way. And so I'm like, what are you talking about? And this guy's never seen me get mad all of a sudden. And he's like, no, I'm just saying it's like, I know it was a pothole. It's just evidence of the overall thing that you've been jittery on the steering wheel. And I was like, what? So now we're out of control. Okay, I'm sludge right now. I'm violent extremism. Okay, I'm concepts, and this is like I'm in the front. Like what? He's like, oh, no, I really appreciate that you're driving. And I take a second, and I'm like, I will kick you out of this car. And then I was water after that. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Sometimes when you're not water for 15 to 30 seconds, what you'll find is when you come back to water, when you return, everyone else in the car is no longer water because you've really ripped a fucking cord on the vibe of the drive. So for the next 2 hours, was it weirdly quiet? Yeah. So, whoops. I got back to water pretty quick, but then I was like, oh, don't know how to rescue this. And also maybe I ruminated a little bit on what the guy said. And I was like, why don't you fucking drive? I didn't see you offer to help drive. Oh, and by the way, who's named Eric? So, it's fine. Anyway, Eric Troutman, if you're watching, he said that he would. I forgive you. And also, I'm sorry that I flew off the handle. It's something that everyone else knew to expect of me, and you didn't because I was so good this week. And sometimes, even with our best intentions, we're just crazy. So I'm sorry, my bad man. And also, I respect your opinions on Neuralink. We talked about Neuralink during it. And I was like, I love a guy that will call out bad faith arguments that have pervaded the public consciousness. And he did. And I was like, damn, that's great. Then he talked about my driving. All that went out the window. Fuck that guy. Now I'm back.
I will say, Colin is Eric is it true? Wait, what? Is it true Clyde cannot hold the lane?
Is it true Colin cannot hold the lane?
Oh, he corrected your name.
Hey, Patricia with the C. What?
Colin is actually a very, very good driver. So
she's just saying that.
I'm not just saying that. You pretty much from jump were good at driving. And that's because, and we drive stick shift in this house. So, and that was doing that, so yeah, you drive well. When we drove to New York, you drove, most of it. I definitely drove a couple of parts that you didn't feel like driving. You didn't want to drive in DC. I was like, I'll drive in DC.
Fuck DC. Yeah. No, and it's just something that from the beginning I was looking forward to forever. I just wanted to drive for so long, and so I wanted to be good at it. And the thing about meeting new people is they don't know what your one thing is. Where it's like you can't. We can be joshing around the whole car ride, but don't talk about Colin's driving. How do I expect Eric to know that? I don't.
Exactly.
Do I still fly off the handle? A little, but in any other context, people tolerate me being a goofball in that situation or, a little aggressive. But when somebody has never known you as not water, it's a great argument for me not being water, honestly.
What do you mean? I think it's a great argument for you being water.
No. Because if I can't always be water, then those moments where I become not water are way more jarring. Whereas if I'm just this strange being, people are like, he's got opinions, and they make those little jokes. Oh, I'm over here. Oh, Colin's got strong opinions. Ha ha ha. Nudge your friend. Yeah, I do. Okay, fuck you, you clown. You don't have opinions? Oh, wow, what a fun life you'll have. Oh, on your deathbed with your children. Oh, what did you enjoy most about your life? Oh, well, I enjoyed that I never had anything to say. Fuck you. Okay.
Gotcha.
Have opinions.
But
water, baby.
Yeah, I'm a fan of opinions. I'm also, a fan of people really like whatever is important to them, like really going for it. But it's just so hard in this day and age when everything feels freaking important. Everything feels important. There's not enough hours in the day. I only have this many hands I only have 2 hands. Being an ally to every single cause just feels insurmountable sometimes. And what we need to help us with that mounting struggle is we need help in the form of children.
Child labor.
Exactly.
Hey, what a perfect set, by the way.
I was trying.
So ready for that spike, dude. Very nice.
You're
Very
welcome.
nice. Thank you. Hey, hey, Mom, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's the deal with these child labor laws?
Oy. I mean,
Poor child, they can't be laboring.
that's some real Morty voicing.
Oh, is it Morty?
Voicing?
I'm sorry. Wait. Let me get the.
Were you trying to do Seinfeld? It was like a Seinfeld Morty,
Whoa. He's lower. Oh. What's the deal?
Maybe Seinfeld and Morty are weirdly similar, and we've just never thought about it before.
Whoa. What happened to my many cars?
Does he have a lot of cars? I have no
The
idea.
man has too many cars, and he owns a high-rise in New York that just holds cars. That's too many cars.
Jeez. Imagine. That's crazy. That's a lot of cars. I wonder how many children he has that just wash them for him. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. Some you learn real quick in the New York open mic comedy scene. People don't like Seinfeld. They don't like him. He's not nice. What are you gonna do?
I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who was expecting him to be nice.
Yeah.
It's like, yeesh. Okay, sorry, I keep interrupting. What's the deal with child labor laws?
Child labor laws. Okay, well, it feels like, why is this even coming up? It's 2023. Why are we even discussing such things? Wasn't this decided, like almost 100 years ago? And the answer is, yeah, it was. Why is it coming up now? There's reasons, we'll get there, but let's just back up for a second to 1904, right? There was this organization. They're called the National Child Labor Committee. That's when they were formed. It was in 1904. And they were like a nonprofit, a group of do-gooders that really thought, seeing the conditions inside factories that the children were exposed to was just kind of unacceptable to them. They were like, oh, what about the children? This just doesn't feel right. And so they started off in a nice grassroots, campaign, working through the states and through state legislatures to try to pass some laws to protect the children. They had done a really good job of mobilizing popular support. So it was spreading at this point. Like, this was what the people wanted, was, not to have, just to have some sort of rules about children. And because nobody wants to see maimed children. And, if you get maimed as a child, you're maimed for life. What I mean?
And if I recall correctly, there were also some sort of government policies that were born of, sentiments we still see today, which is that there was this fear that government policies were being taken advantage of by people whose labor is not being used. So at the time, didn't you have to prove that your children were working sometimes up to like 48 hours a week in order to receive certain government benefits?
You know what? That I don't know. That's an interesting piece of information. I did not know that.
It was a bonkers one.
That
I read it. I read it today, and and it's just like it did seem very much like a government v people type of issue, which was interesting. Had a lot of
Yeah, and this way, right now, this group of people has kind of they sort of spread this idea that we should have some rules to protect the children, and a lot of those rules that they were starting to pass through state legislatures also they were paired with these compulsory school laws, because before that, you could pull your kids out of school because they needed to go to work.
Yep.
Some kids just didn't complete high school. It's very common not to complete high school. You went as long as was necessary, according to your parents, to then go ahead and get a job. I think school is for rich people. So in 1904, that was when that organization started. And in 1912, what did I write this down? There was a United States Children's Bureau, which was a part of the Department of Labor. That was when that was created. And they were working on some of these reforms because, it really, let's be real, you always need federal stuff. But I like that they started off trying to do state laws, and then they worked their way into federal law. So in 1916, there was an act called the Keating-Owen Act, and it outlawed interstate commerce involving employees under 14. So if you're using child labor, you can't be going across state lines with it. But as long as you stayed within your state, it was totally cool, man. What you do in your state's your business, but federally we're saying, nah, you can't do that. And one of the ways that they would penalize people is if they did cross state lines, is they would tax. They give them like a 10% tax or something on it. But what they were doing is they were started taxing within the state too. So if you were just selling within your state, they started taxing too, and so then that law got thrown out because the Supreme Court ruled that it wasn't being used correctly. So now we're back to square one again. Let's see. And then in 1924, there was an amendment. An amendment was attempted, right, to regulate labor for anybody under 18. And at this point, FDR supported it. For a while there, getting the presidents to support things. At first, the presidents were all like, yeah, I don't really see how this is something I should dip my toes in, until we have women voting and stuff like that. And the women are becoming a big block of people, and they care about their children and labor. And so all of that stuff started happening. So now you've got presidents going, okay, maybe we will start to regulate this stuff. So FDR at this point is supporting the idea of an amendment. At first, we could get like 5 states to sign it. Eventually, 14 more signed on. And they got to, I think, 9 more by 1937. And they needed 10 more to actually ratify this so that it would become an amendment. But that never happened. So it's still sitting there unratified and not part of our Constitution. And to me, this is important, right? And I'll get to, we'll get to why later, because of modern times. Right? So what happened in 1938 is we had the Fair Labor Standards Act. That was when it happened. And so it made the amendment moot. They're like, look, we've already made a law about it. We don't have to worry about this amendment. And the Fair Labor Standards Act, which I believe is, this is still what governs us today. And it was basically saying that we need to protect children's educational opportunities. And so we will prohibit employment in jobs that are detrimental to the health and safety of children. And we will restrict the hours of children under 16. And then it also lists a variety of occupations that have been deemed too dangerous for young workers. Now, these laws only really apply to non-agricultural jobs. For some reason, they view children in factories and children on farms very differently, and they still do. So even today, if you were 12 years old and your family has a farm, it's the summertime, there's no limit to the number of hours you can work. So you're not limited to a 40-hour work week. This is your farm. You will work as long as your parents say work. It's totally fine. And again, when you're talking about, jobs that are deemed too hazardous, like kids can't use, I say kids, anybody under 16 can't use, woodworking equipment. They can't use saws. They can't use construction equipment. So they certainly can't be using combines and tractors and things like that. But if you're in agriculture, you absolutely can. You can have a 12-year-old driving down the street in a big old combine. It's completely fine. He can be yanked out of school because the farm needs are more important, and it's completely fine. It's just interesting.
Hey, Ellie. Yeah. How old were you when you worked in that fug shop?
I was early high school or late junior high.
So 14, 15? Child labor in our own homes.
Unbelievable. So I bet she wasn't.
Shops.
I bet she wasn't allowed to use the little. If there was any batter machine, she probably couldn't use the batter. She probably shouldn't have been.
The batter machine.
If there was a batter machine, I don't know. It's fudge.
She folded shirts and checked people out.
Well, that she could do. That's not dangerous.
Not paid to check people out. I'd take that job.
You would? Sounds boring.
To check people out?
Oh, you mean, hey, is that what you might check people out? I don't think that's, hey, how you doing?
Folding shirts, that's got to be what, 20% of the day? 80% God damn, Silverton has some baddies. That's where it was.
Yeah.
All right. Cheap joke. We got it.
Yep. So even today, there's still exceptions for these these labor laws, right? So if you work for your parents, so even if you work in a restaurant, but it's your parents' restaurant, you're allowed to do it. If you sell newspapers, totally fine. If you're a child actor, I don't know what the specific rules are about child acting, but they are exempt from these labor laws and these limits to the number of hours that they can work and all of that stuff.
That is interesting.
Exactly. It is interesting. According to the 1900 census, there were, I got the actual number, but I don't know why I care about that. It said 1,752,187 children were working. They were gainfully employed. That's what it said. So that was 1 in 6 children at the time were gainfully employed, which is, I mean, it's not everybody, but it's a lot. That's a lot of gainfully employed children. I just like that it's all paired with education. I find that fascinating. I really do. But so now if we come to modern times, what happened was during COVID, there was suddenly this shortage of people to fill all of these spots, right? People were getting sick. They were dropping like flies. People just were done putting up with a certain level of nonsense, and people were demanding more. And so during that time, there were some states that loosened the restrictions on these child labor laws. And there was also a pretty significant increase, like a 3 times the normal rate increase in the number of violations of, these child labor laws, to the point where, I mean, there was weird stuff like the Hyundai and Kia plants. And there's children in their supply chain. We have, JBS meat packing, and I think the Packer Sanitation meat packing, which I think are part of the same company. They had 102 children working there, and they were fined they were fined $1.5 million. And what the children were doing was they were cleaning saws, I'm assuming bone saws, because it's a meat packing plant, and they were cleaning head splitters, which I think is as bad as it sounds, and using caustic chemicals. And they were doing this on night shift. So you had middle schoolers that were showing up to work very tired, not work. They were showing up to school very, very tired because they just worked an overnight shift cleaning head splitters.
To be fair, it does sound fun.
Cleaning them does, with caustic chemicals.
Super fun. That you hope with a $1.5 million fine that somehow benefited the kids that were being taken advantage of. But you also doubt it.
You do doubt it. Yeah.
But set up a scholarship for them or something, right? I mean,
it was a
child
fine.
labor laws are to protect the kids, right? Not to benefit the government. So I don't know. Hey, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I think McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Chipotle, they also were busted for breaking some child labor laws. I feel like theirs were probably less significant. It was probably
franchises.
Employing 14 to 16-year-olds doing more hours than they were supposed to, or hours that they're not supposed to be working. They're working, that kind of stuff, or using equipment they're not supposed to be using. Because if you're under certain ages, again, you can't use certain things. Like your brother worked at Arby's, and they wouldn't let him touch the meat slicer until he was 18. And suddenly he was 18, and now he got paid more. He's working the night shift, and he's slicing meat at Arby's. So
the dream.
I am slicing the meat. What else? Do you want to hear some of the other stuff that's been going on lately?
Yeah.
Which to me, COVID was a catalyst for a lot of things that have happened in the world lately. It was just a catalyst, and there's so much going on sometimes that it's very difficult. It feels
like a lot of things, a lot of societal time bombs got accelerated by COVID, there were traps that were laid that were propped up on these kind of false scaffolding, and then COVID just cut the legs out of everything, and anything that was not stable collapsed. And now we're dealing with the pieces of the education system's working. Oh, the housing market is propped up on nonsense. Oh, banks. So
exactly, all of that stuff. So what we have Iowa. they have expanded the type of work that 14 and 15-year-olds can do as part of training programs, which means that basically the Department of Workforces and Development and the Department of Education can just randomly decide, no, I know before you weren't allowed to drive forklifts, but we've decided you can drive forklifts now. Oh, you can weld now. We've given you permission to weld now. Oh, you spinning blades? Great. It's fine. We've approved you. You're now allowed at 14 to operate spinning blades. They've extended the number of hours that they can work if you're 14 and 15. And they have exempted employers from liability, injury, and death in meat packing plants.
Very cool. The pro-life party. But if you die, no liability.
Yeah. So it sounds like basically what they did is, so if you're part of a training program, so let's say part of the day you do like a skilled job at school, right? Maybe you go to some vocational school, or you have vocational classes in your school. They're basically now allowing you to use things you weren't allowed to use before. They're extending your work hours. And if you injure yourself doing those things on a work study program or whatever, it's not the business's problem that you got hurt. Sounds great. Who's that for? Who's that for?
I imagine it's been squeezed in by some fucking lobbyist. That's just fuckers.
In Ohio, so that was Iowa. Ohio, they have reintroduced a bipartisan bill. So this one's not passed yet. That would extend work hours for 14 and 15-year-olds with parents' permission. So that one, they at least ask parents' permission. But that one is
did Iowa's change the parents' permission thing?
I don't even think it's in there. It doesn't even say anything. They don't care about you parents. It's like
okay.
Minnesota, they have introduced extending work hours as well, and they also want to allow children to work in construction because we need more child roofers. It seems roofing for some reason seems to be full of children for some reason in these stories. Wisconsin has passed, but this was vetoed by the governor. So it made it through, but got vetoed, expanding work hours for 14 and 15-year-olds. New Jersey did pass this, and it's 100% going on right now. They've expanded work hours for 14 and 15-year-olds during summer hours, holidays, and then they've just generally extended them for 16 and 17-year-olds as well at any time. At the federal level, there is a Republican congressman named David Joyce of Ohio, and he has drafted a bill expanding work hours for 14 and 15-year-olds while school is in session. So it's not just summer hours or holiday hours for him. He's like, no, you should be able to work, till 2 o'clock in the morning, till 4 o'clock, till 7 a.m. School
that certainly won't get anywhere though, right? I mean,
I would hope not.
In Congress.
I would hope not.
What about the Arkansas one?
Okay, so Arkansas one. That's the one that's gotten everybody's attention, even though to me this is not the worst one out there. It's
that photo op, man.
It's that photo
Sarah
op.
Huckabee Sanders, and it felt like it was the first domino to fall, at least in the public eye, right? When he got
exactly. Yeah, it was the first one we noticed, even though all of these other ones, had already happened. They had already happened. The Ohio, did I say Ohio? No, not Ohio. Ohio hasn't. Iowa and New Jersey had already happened. But yeah, so the Sarah Huckabee Sanders, it's called the Youth Hiring Act. And that's in Arkansas, which I didn't realize she was the governor of Arkansas. I don't know. I feel like dumb that I didn't know that, but she's the governor of Arkansas. Anyway, it rolls back verification of workers aged under 16. So you basically don't need to prove your age anymore. You don't need to, you don't have to come up with any kind of identification if you're under 16 to work. They're just going to trust you.
Yep.
And then you no longer need to apply with a division of labor for permission to work. So you don't need a work permit anymore if you're under 16. And, they view it as it's just a bunch of red tape that's not necessary. It's not doing anything. When you fill out your tax forms, you're going to have to verify your age then. So why are we going through all this extra rigmarole? And to me, so apparently this form that you used to fill out, it was just one page, but it also had, what your rights were as a child who is working. These are the number of hours you're allowed to work. This is, it had everything there for you. So it had that advantage, is that you are now a little bit more of an informed worker. But also, I would hope that if you had to apply with the Department of Labor, then I would hope, that the Department of Labor was keeping track of some of this stuff.
Yeah. And you also needed a parent signature, which feels like, I don't know. It's crazy that last week we were talking about this Republican effort that they had branded as putting power into the hands of parents in their selecting what books can go into school libraries. And then this week, now that it has to do with the economy, it's like, take the power out of those parents' hands. Okay. We can't have parents getting in the way of their 14-year-olds working.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. That would be, and I don't say this lightly, socialism. So I know that's just another thing, man. And also I think it's interesting that Arkansas is the place where this has been passed, because just a month ago, we're now in Colin's conspiracy corner. So everyone put on your hats.
Ooh, it's usually mine. Today it's yours.
Today it's Colin's conspiracy theory corner. I've done some work in Arkansas. I've done some applying for some things, and if there's one entity, I don't know how many Arkansanians
close enough
are here, but everyone there knows that there's one company that reigns supreme over Arkansas: Walmart. Walmart was founded in Arkansas. The Waltons still live there. Basically, everything has the name Walton on the side of it. The Walton family, I'm a grant writer. Whenever you find a foundation that is accepting grant applications, you find out it's just another part of the Walton Family Foundation. So you're always applying to the Walton Family Foundation. Walmart reigns supreme in politics there, and it reigns supreme in philanthropy. So it is interesting to me that Walmart, about 2 months before this was signed into law, put out a statement that due to labor shortages across the country, they were going to have to cut pharmacy hours and decrease staffing at late night hours and close off sections of the Walmart. So Walmart is already putting out public facing language about how, even though they've increased their wages time and time again, they cannot find workers. And then in their home state, where their money touches everything in politics, child labor laws start to get loosened. And they're like, oh, what's getting in the way, people? You are in the background. Just so you know, you're allowed to be in the background. It is your home as well. I just want you to know. In there, they're like, what's getting in the way of us hiring kids? Those pesky little parents. Their little grubby parent paws in the trough of child labor. And so don't follow that analogy too far. And and then this gets signed into law after they're already posturing about we can't possibly raise wages anymore. So let's just hire children who have no concept of the difference between $14 an hour and $7.25 is what they said.
Yeah. It's hard for me because obviously, the wages have gone up significantly over the last several years, as has inflation. But you still have record profits from some of these companies, right? So it's clearly raising what they pay their workers isn't really affecting their bottom line. That's the lie that they tell us, but it doesn't seem to be the case. They're making more and more money. And apparently, again, you can't get adults to work at these prices anymore because they are so far below a living wage that, let's fill in the gaps with children. And I think some of the concern is also which children are you going to get, right? Which children are going to be willing to work at those kinds of prices? And it's ones that have to, right? They have a terrible living situation. They have to, or possibly they are immigrants. or they are here, maybe not legally, right? And it doesn't matter. You're a child, you're being exploited. But, it's just easy for these invisible children to just get lost. And I think that's why we have to protect them. And it does matter. There, if you looked at any of the propaganda that was going on back when they were originally passing some of these child labor laws, they're like, hey, we want to, work is good for your children. It's getting them, ready. They're learning all these crucial and important things that are going to help them in the future. But is that really true, right? If you start off working in a factory when you're 10, do you think somehow that's going to help you to get a college education when you're 18? No, it's not. You're just going to be stuck in this forever and ever and ever. You're never going to get ahead. You're always going to be stuck in that mindset forever.
But that really is the crux of it right there, right? Is that they want the American dream. We're still in conspiracy corner, by the way.
Okay.
They want the American dream as a selling point and as a method of withdrawing labor from populations which provide it. That they want it there. They want the idea of meritocracy there. But they don't want anyone to pay attention to the fact that there simply needs to be people in low-skilled jobs, right? That these jobs need to be done because people will pay money for them to be done. For all the you're going to be a fucking waiter your whole life, oh, you fucking loser, right? For all that, we all go to restaurants, so who do you want doing this, okay? Robots are going to, they're going to take a lot of jobs eventually. It turns out the jobs that they're going to take are exactly the ones that I was told they weren't going to take, like computer science and writing. But
right, those AIs are doing some fun stuff.
These bastard AIs, man. They pulled a quick 1-2 on me because there's a lot of forces that are pushing against automation of other industries that should be automated. Doesn't matter. That the reality of the whole situation is that they do not have enough jobs at the top for everyone that goes to college to get to them. Right. And they've seen this for years now. So they try and make it prohibitively expensive. But they'll do anything short of saying we actually don't need everyone to go to college. And we probably should have acknowledged that any job in the job market clearly serves a purpose. Otherwise, we wouldn't fucking pay for it. And then we should also acknowledge the concept of capitalism, which is if a job is needed, there's an amount of labor, there's an amount of work needed, and in order to increase the body of labor, you need to incentivize people to join that job pool by making it rewarding. So make the management styles better, make the pay better, make the benefits better, all the things that an economist would fucking tell you to do. But no. We need to keep the poor, conspiracy hat still on. Just to be clear, we need to keep the poor convinced that they can reach the top of society. Unlikely. They can reach the top parts of society because it is so good at keeping this grind set idea out there. It's so good at getting people to believe that the reason that they are where they are is they don't work hard enough. You see people you ever on LinkedIn?
Lies.
I don't know if we have a big LinkedIn audience. I don't think we do. I'm on LinkedIn. People on there are like, I saw this post today where it was like, somebody said, I think they had spent money on something. They said, people say must be nice, okay? But here's what I want you to think about next time you want to say, burp, must be nice. Here's what I want you to think of, right? Must be nice wasn't gotten with 40-hour weeks and sleeping in on the weekends. Must be nice wasn't gotten by going to my kid's softball game. Must be nice wasn't this. No. It was 60-hour weeks. It was working into the night. It was giving up time with my family. It wasn't taking that vacation. That's how I got where I am. They're bragging, bro, because they've drank the Kool-Aid so fucking hard. They've drank
so hard.
Because you know what? The reason that you're failing is you're not working hard enough. And there's no such thing as work-life balance. There's only a zero-sum game where the godlike hand, which is capitalism, says, which of you is working 81 hours? And then a number of hands go up and they go, oh, too many hands, 82 hours. And a couple hands go down. And then the magic hand of capitalism just keeps going up until the number of hands is right. And he goes, now you can be millionaires. That's not how it fucking works. But they need this. I'm losing it. So.
No, I feel what you're saying. Yeah, it's a lie. It's definitely drank the Kool-Aid situation. It's not the thing to brag about, because what are you working for? If your whole family, if you don't see your children, if you don't have any time to do things that are, life enriching, and all you're doing is working, why? Why are you doing that?
I don't know. Here's why you should listen to me with my 25 years on this earth. I'm so old and mature. No. All right. I know. I get it. I'm a young man. Okay. Yeah. You don't know what it's really like to go through life, to need to support a family. You're right. But here's what I do know. I went to the place that you're told that you can get. Okay. I am not from an immaculately rich family, not to out you, Mom, but we're not bourgeoisie, okay? My grandpa theoretically couldn't afford to go to my graduation. This is what we're dealing with here, right? This is that shit, right? But we were not poor, but I still got to the place, right? I got to MIT, which is what they tell you, right? And there's financial aid and there's everything. But here's my experience, right? Is that even when you get there, you're told, oh, you go to MIT, you can make anything happen. Hey, man, I'll tell you this. You can jump up a tax bracket. I guarantee you can jump up a tax bracket. But you still need to be so on and getting ahead of your classmates that know the system, which is most of them, because most of MIT is top 2% kids. And these kids know the whole system. They know how important the freshman year internship is. And you know what they tell you? When you're looking for freshman year internships, they say, you're not competitive at all. You basically need to know someone at one of these companies. Well, guess who doesn't know someone? The kids that they let in, that were told you can make anything happen at MIT, right? Well, year 2 rolls around. Well, you're not very competitive unless you got an internship last year. Did you get an internship last year? Oh, let me think. No, I didn't. No, because I didn't fucking know anyone. I worked at Applebee's in between MIT years. There were other factors, but it was fine. And so the sophomore year internship goes by. Well, guess what they say junior year? If you've missed the freshman and sophomore internship rounds, you're fucked. Okay? So you better start looking at academia routes, because otherwise, cog in the machine, baby. You're not going to get any of the jobs that they advertise as for MIT kids, because you needed to do the internships. You needed to do the things in the summers. But all the kids that came from the rich schools, who are also, by the way, dumber, they know the people and they know the system. They know what is important once you get to MIT to do. It's nutso, right? And then even if you go the academic route, Ellie, I'm going to talk about you very briefly. Even if you go the academic route, the people there, so many of them are benefiting from nepotism. They don't understand the things that will help you, right? Oh my goodness. Was there this one PI that doesn't seem to fucking get it, right? Because she'll talk all this shit about discrimination and whatnot in science. And by the way, it's a big problem. But what does she not see? That both of her parents are incredibly famous PIs, that she was raised incredibly rich and in an academic environment, and that she knows the system, and that she was led into a school where her parents were undergraduates. And then she got a job at that same institution because her parents had sway in that place. But she doesn't understand how big smaller things are to kids that don't have those connections. And so, let's say that person is at a conference in Montreal this weekend and leaves one of their alumni's names off of the alumni list when that person doesn't have connections in academia. no connections in academia because we weren't born into this. We did the thing that the system says we can do. You can go to the good school and then you can make it. No, you can't, because they fuck with you the whole way up. Unless you're insane, they just keep fucking with you because they don't get it, because it's still handshakes and backroom meetings. Okay. You know who can get a job in academia? Someone who's sexually assaulted someone that already has a job in academia. Why? Because they've all got all these fucking connections. You know who can't get anything fucking done? People with incredible academic skills that keep getting fucked over by a PI that doesn't seem to get it, doesn't seem to understand that there are people that actually can't make it. I'm water. I'm just a babbling brook right now. Okay?
A babbling brook. I like it. I like it.
Okay. I'm running over some stones, and the stones are academia and how much the thing that I experienced is what is sold to the middle and lower middle class, even the upper middle class. Okay. That, you know, oh my gosh, does the lower middle class spend so much time dogging on the upper middle class? You don't even know what upper class is, dog. You are your goggles are wrong. You're identifying upper middle class as upper class because you've never met upper class. Stop fighting them, okay? Because they're getting fucked over by the same things, just less, and their lives are nicer. You can be jealous of that. So I'm losing it.
Well, no, but I mean, you said it earlier. You said not everybody can. There's not enough room for everybody at the top. And so those people that are already there, right? They've had a taste of it. They know what it's about. They know how to stay there. There's risk in letting you up there because is there still room for them? So you're dangerous. You are dangerous. Being smart, skilled, you know, being all of those things in academia that I'm sure Ellie is, you know, is scary to people that don't have those skills, but know what it's like to be at the top anyway. There's no, you know, they don't want to move over because there will be no room for them because she will outshine the shit out of them.
Yep. And they make the systems unclear for that reason, right? Because even though they speak mad shit about wanting the system to be more equitable, that's their favorite word. They want the system to be more equitable. They want it to be equitable in theory. They don't want it to be equitable for them because their fear is that the second it really becomes equitable, they will no longer win. And here's what's crazy is that even in the mission to become equitable, you see certain ones figure out like, oh, I can still climb the equitable chain here, even though I've got all these fucking other things. As long as I don't highlight that I'm the literal benefactor of a monopoly on eggs in China, as long as I don't talk about that, then we're good. These fucking clowns, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. But child labor laws, you know.
But they don't want to say that we just need low income labor. We need low skill labor. All these terrible phrases, which are just that we just need labor until we replace it. And when we replace it, we need a VAT tax for universal basic income so that we can all stop fucking talking about this. God, I hate these systems. I hate academia so much. I hate it. The clowns. And I hate child labor. Water. I am water. It's so hard to be water in a world full of so many stones and steep drops. I mean, you're still water, but there's all this air mixing up in me as I get tossed around.
I mean, water can be a very violent and powerful force that can, you know, soften the edges on some pretty sharp rocks. So, you know.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, dude. You should have been there this whole week saying shit like this, dude. Because here's the thing about saying I'm water is that it happens to everyone. First, everyone's like, okay, because you kind of get it immediately. Then I explain it and you're like, okay, I see what you're doing. But then as it expands, you're like, holy shit, the power of the metaphor has unlocked something within me where it's like, where you just, not me, everyone you talk to, you're like, actually, water can be like this. And actually, you really should embrace water. Bro, we're going to come up with a religion
Ooh.
I mean, look at me, and and this it's gonna be good. But water is not just one thing. Okay, it's just water.
It's just water. Yeah.
I'm losing it.
But maybe we don't need to fill our labor pool with children. Maybe we should just take care of the worker a little bit better so he wants to come to work at an unskilled job and treat them with some respect, man. Treat them with respect. Anybody who's willing to give up their time, which to me is a valuable thing. If you're willing to give up your time, your energy, your body, your mind, whatever it is, to enrich somebody else, right? For pay, you should respect that somebody's willing to do that, and you should pay them, well. It's terrible to me, the idea that somebody who has given up their time to do something that is unskilled. I don't know. There's a lot of unskilled jobs that are very difficult, like they're just physically demanding. Somebody that's willing to stand out in the sun and, work construction, if they're willing to sit in a hot, sweaty, hamburger joint and smell disgusting for the whole day, they're willing to give their time up to do those things. You should have some respect for it.
Yeah.
That's just me, man. I don't know.
I think next week we should just read Marx.
Like Marx, like Marxism Marx?
Yeah, like Karl.
Karl Marx.
Dude, and we should call it Reading Karl, And that I just it does feel like so many of these episodes, it's just like we're just a hop, skip, and a leap from Marxism. It's just my political career can't handle it.
Nope. Hey, can I ask your opinion on something? Because
you can.
This rolls around my head sometimes. I lost it already. Oh, I got it. Okay, so when you look at a company, right, and you're evaluating it, and you're going to buy stock in it, whatever, it feels like it needs to continuously grow, right? Like being a successful business that, let's say you sell shoes. You sell 10 shoes every single day, and that's enough. Your workers are paid. You've got extra money in your pocket. You can pay all your bills. Everything's great. Selling 10 pairs of shoes a day, right? But an investor is never going to be happy with that. So they invest. Now you're selling 12 shoes a day. Great. But the next year, is 12 shoes going to be enough? No. You need to be selling 20 shoes. It's like there's never a number that's enough. And when you've got people who have died from COVID, so you've got a smaller pool, you've got people that are having fewer children and having them later in life. So again, we've got potentially less people on the planet. Who is going to be consuming all of these goods that need to be consumed for continuous growth?
Yes, that is the case for a lot of businesses. And also for the economy to be worth what it's worth right now, the entire economy also needs to grow. And when it doesn't, that's a problem. And it's all speculative. There's no value to be found in almost any publicly traded stock unless it's had some controversy surrounding it. There's essentially only value to be found in third world countries right now. Like if you can get into the Indian stock market, you can find value there. But that reminds me of a video that I would like to show, and I don't think we'll get copyright struck, but we might.
Well, if you give me the link to it afterwards, I can drop it into the description, and that generally saves us.
Okay. Well, then I will give you the link. But there's a very funny video which is about almost exactly what you're describing. That I think we'll all enjoy. 7 minutes long.
Ooh, that's long.
Well, we might get the gist at some point, but if we're all just rolling laughing, we're good, baby. First, I'm going to send you the link, copy, and then paste. Great link, and now I'm going to share my screen. Yes.
Sounds good. You can share your screen.
There we go. Do you see it?
I do see it.
Okay, what happens if I maximize it?
I don't know. Let's find out. It makes it a little bigger.
Perfect. Okay.
Hey, gang, what's going on, everyone? Haven't been here in a second. How we all doing? Well, this is Craig's birthday video, right? In accounting.
No. This is a promo shoot for Oreos for the product that we make.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, of course. Hey, gang, my name's Carl Box, and I'm the proud CEO of Oreos, Milk's favorite cookie. We want you, our loyal customers, to know that here at Oreos, we don't take our position for granted, and we will never rest on our laurels. That's why we've been hard at work innovating brand new ways to enjoy your favorite cookie. From minis to double stuff, all of your favorite flavor varietals like golden, mint, and Halloween. Sorry, gang, can we stop here? Can we pause down for a second?
Oh yeah, sure. What's up?
Sure. Okay, number one, just like we can agree that Halloween is not a flavor, right? And kind of to zoom out for a second, we should absolutely be resting on our laurels, right?
Excuse me?
I'm not gonna narc on you guys. Just keep cashing the checks. You don't have to come into work. It's Oreos. We work at a money factory. Like, go home.
Can we hold? Can we hold real quick?
Yeah, let's go home. Let's stop. Yeah, what's
A
up?
lot of people have worked really hard.
Why? We could just make Oreos.
We are just making Oreos.
No, we're making crazy bullshit. Kyle, please run me through the new approved Oreo varietals.
Okay. Well, you got your double stuffed Oreo,
Cool.
your football Oreo, which is football shaped, your big stuff Oreo, which is even more.
How is big stuff different from double stuff?
It's bigger.
Oh, fuck. After the smash success of our birthday cake Oreos, we got to thinking of all the other special events that can use the world's greatest sandwich cookies. From wedding cake Oreos to graduation Oreos, retirement Oreos to bereavement Oreos for funerals.
What?
Nope. Hey, gang. Nope. We're not doing that.
People love it.
What do you mean people love bereavement Oreos?
Focus groups love the taste of them.
Yeah, Kyle, they taste like Oreos.
Should I go on?
Yes.
Strawberry milkshake Oreo. Strawberry Oreo. It's different than strawberry milkshake Oreo.
You need to be able to explain what the difference between strawberry milkshake Oreo and strawberry Oreo is, or I'm going to burn the building down.
So the milkshake, it has more of like a milkshake taste.
Milkshake's not a taste.
It has a consistency.
It has the consistency of a milkshake, this cookie?
No, it has the consistency
Of an Oreo, right?
Yeah.
Our 4th of July such a smash hit, we had to introduce our Civic Holidays line. Make sure to try our Smoky Barbecue Labor Day Oreos, our Caramel Memorial Day Oreos, ooh, it's mouthful, and our Green Tea Arbor Day Oreos, now with real wood.
What?
I need you to be able to tell me what's wrong with this without me explaining it verbally. Keep going.
Okay. Gluten free. Hey, everybody wins there. Android Oreo. Android part like the phone. Chocolate Oreo. That's easy.
They're already chocolate. I get it. Mind. We made the perfect cookie 100 years ago. And now there's no work left to do. I'm telling you, we did it. We won. Go home. Be with your families. Raise your children. Stop making new Oreos. Honest question for the marketing department. And I really sincerely mean this. Does anybody here sincerely believe there is someone out there who hasn't heard of Oreos? Do me one better. Do you believe there is someone out there who hasn't already had an Oreo?
No.
Then what are we doing? Uh-oh, what's this? It's the new Bizarro line from Oreos, putting the fun back into functionally the same cookie. With the new Inside Out Oreo, you got cream on the outside with crunchy cookie in the middle. With the Oops All Letters Oreo, you've got a package of just the part of the cookie that says Oreo on it. And with the Dodecatuple Stuffed Oreo, enough. The madness stops here. Do you see that there is nowhere else to go? And Alexander wept, for there were no more worlds to conquer. We done did the good cookie that everybody liked, and now we get to go home.
Can you at least just look at these billboard and bus stop samples?
What do we need a billboard for? What do we need a billboard for? You know where a billboard is? Every cookie aisle in the world. I've never been to a grocery store and not seen half the cookie aisle choked with a sinful glut of bullshit Oreos.
Now with Wi-Fi.
You have poison in your mind, and the fact that you can't see it makes me so sad.
We work really hard.
Don't.
Oreo soft cookies, they're softer. They don't have as crispy of an outside. Oreo thins, they're also quite crispy. Cinnamon bun Oreos, cinnamon latte Oreos.
You are a babbling fool, and we have built a temple to madness.
Filled cupcake Oreos, just muffin Oreo.
Hello? Craig! What's up? Guys, Craig, happy birthday, my guy. What's up? Yeah, I'm in the office right now. Oh, man, it's great to hear your voice. You taking it easy? No, you're working 80 hours a week. It's too much, Craig.
80 hours. Craig, you're working 80 hours a week. What are you doing?
We must stop growing.
Yeah. When is it enough? Like just being able to sustain, your country's economy in a nice, normal way is just not enough, is it? It's never enough.
The public asset market is a nightmare.
Yeah. I find it bizarre. But it all just leads to this problem to me, why we have to continuously find new ways to exploit the worker.
Yep. Well, because we just need that. I mean, stocks go up when they announce layoffs. Like this is just nothing.
That's a curiosity.
Except dividend stocks, right? And this is the main thing. Dividend stocks make sense, right? Because you buy a part of the company, and then you don't really expect for the stock to become more valuable, other than in relation to inflation. You just expect the stock to earn you a piece of the revenue of the company, which the point of the company is to create revenue, right? So it's just this font of revenue. And as long as the company is needed, you get a part of that revenue. Joy! That's the only way it should work. But of course, certain companies have business plans, right? There's a market which needs to be, there's potential in the market. They need to be competitive, so they need to reinvest their money. So they can't offer that dividend. And so then all of the value is speculation upon whether or not this company will be able to consume or grow the market which it exists in. And that's most companies, is just speculation upon that. And it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's why we have disposable electronics and disposable everything now, right? Because having a piece of an appliance or anything that just could last, you don't want that. We need you to buy more of it. We need you to buy more. We need you to buy more. You have to upgrade your phone every, year and a half or whatever, or else. So we've purposely made it a piece of shit.
It's why the graph of how the percentage of America that's in favor of a bill and the offenness with which that bill gets passed are not the same slope or correlated with each other. The likelihood a bill gets passed is almost entirely unrelated to how popular it is among Americans.
Oh, because Americans don't matter. What matters is the people at the top that control the money, control the lobby, and then control Congress and the rules that they make.
Yeah.
So it's time to send your 14-year-olds to work, I guess.
Yep. So,
or the whole system collapses. No.
Just submit. But there was a little grain. There was a little grain, which I'm sure that you noticed because you said it from the beginning of this podcast. And I do think that I do think
That's weird.
that it is. It's been the moral of multiple episodes of the podcast. Is you said that child labor laws were not that important to the government until the voting block of women was added to elections, right?
Yes.
And so when people say that your vote doesn't matter, they mean that your individual vote doesn't matter. However, populations vote, and they vote because we all participate in this whole thing, even when we know our individual input is inconsequential. We are parts of groups. We are parts of communities here. And if you want your community to be represented, you must first represent your community. And then you must also attempt to get other people among you who believe that voting does nothing. You must convert them with things like child labor laws didn't exist until women were added to the voting block. And then suddenly politicians needed to vie for that voting block. The Christians are really good at it. The Christians get each other to vote. They make it a patriotic incentive, right? And then Black Georgians are really good at it.
Go Black Georgians.
Go Black Georgians. Okay. Black Georgian, bam and whoa. So guys, you still gotta vote. Even though it all feels like a farce, and you feel, even though you're water, you don't feel like a babbling brook or a river or a stream. You feel like a puddle.
But if you collect together with some other puddles, you can make some stuff happen, man.
Yep.
You can at least get somebody's feet wet.
you can drown a man.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
If we get in line with the rocks that trip the man into the puddle. So we gotta have some, we gotta form some alliances.
Puddle rock solidarity is what I've always said.
So while the world feels insurmountable, the number of things that feel like they're falling apart feel like too much for one person to possibly be able to get their energy behind. Let's just all grab hands. We'll do it together. We can do it together. It's the first, one of the few times where community in social media feels like a good thing. We have to create community that can do stuff. Oh, this feels like it took a lovely turn to me. I know that you're making sort of a sad face, but
yeah, but it's good. I think I just went to Canada and I was like, ugh, these guys are fucked too. But at least they got universal health care.
At least that.
I was snowboarding with so much confidence. I was like, oh man, the Canadian taxpayer about to pay for this broken leg.
I would be surprised if you ever broke a leg. I just feel like you're just made of stuff that doesn't break.
Yeah, I mean, I might break like fingers and toes, but yeah, it feels like breaking a leg would be something else. I'm also just like, I just really don't want to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So let's just not break our legs.
But I like snowboarding, man. Dude, snowboarding's so fun. It's like, I feel like even when we lived in Utah, the trajectory of a snowboard trip was the same, which was the first run down. It was like getting your sea legs back. You're like, oh geez, all right, let's relearn how to do this. And you're so sore immediately. You're like, gee, what the hell? How am I going to do this multiple times, right? And you're sitting down and you're like, well, how is no one else sitting down during this? This is hard as hell, okay? I know gravity is supposed to be helping me, but this is not normal. This is a lot of work. And so that's the first rundown, is that. And then you convince yourself to get on the lift again, and you're almost like, I'm not getting down this hill again. I think I'm going to live on the mountain. And so you get up the hill, and strapping in is way easier the second time, and you pop up way easier, and you feel a little more comfortable, and you remember the route you took, and flow state. You're like, oh baby, you're not sitting down, you're shredding, and then, man, this is what you want to bottle up and sell every single time. You're in the state, and you start to appreciate things, and you're like, God, these fucking trees, man, and the view, and then you'll see something. This happened to me in Montreal. You'll see a kid learning how to ski, okay? And the mom and dad, who are clearly very good at skiing, they've got the gear, man. The mom or dad are with them, and the way that they're coaxing the kid down the the mountain is that one will be holding a hand with the little kid and the other one will ski like 20 feet ahead and then stop and turn around. And then the kid will go, Mom, and then we'll go towards mom and then come, and then she'll ski fast and then stop herself with the mom. And then the dad will go past, right? Oh my God, it's so cute. And you're like, all right, that was incredible what I just witnessed, right? That was a little microcosm of life. Life is beautiful, etc. You keep going. You see some friggin' stoner bros that are like trying to make a ramp. And you're like, that's beautiful right there. And then you see like a 12-year-old who seems uncomfortable on the snowboard, but he's going down. He's making it happen, right? And so you give him a like, shredding, dude. And he goes, ha, 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 ha. And then he goes past you and you're like, yes, yes. I feel like he's going to tell his dad about that at the bottom of the mountain. And you're just like, there's so much joy, you know, and you get down to the bottom of the mountain and you're like, man, I want that to be the rest of my life. What I just experienced. I think that's heaven. I think what I just experienced was heaven. And you get on that ski lift again and you're ready for a little bit of heaven and you get off the ski lift and you eat shit immediately. I mean, head straight in the snow, right? You're like, you're looking around, you're like, oh, look, water. And you get up and you're like, no, I'm good. And then your legs start telling you like, you shouldn't have gone a third time. Okay. I was coasting on pure adrenaline because I couldn't believe you took me up the mountain the second time. So I wasn't sending you signals. I'll send you them all now. And by the way, your snowboard technique, there's some problems. So all your stability comes from your back leg and your back leg is giving out. So what's going to happen now is that the rest of your ride down this mountain will be unsettled and on the verge of falling over the whole time. And then these kids are going past you and you're like, I hate these kids. Okay? They're going so fast. And you're like, dude, all right, fuck, why aren't these kids sore? Okay. Where are their parents? Okay. Frankly, you know, their kids are going by and there's little kids on the mountain and you're like, well, gain way. I'm going to kill your kid. I can't control what I'm doing, you know? And then at the very bottom, this thing that you'd never even noticed before, you realize that you need to carry speed in order to get out. And your back leg is like, that is not happening. Okay, there's no way. You carry speed into it and you come out and you just fall over. And then for another 500 feet, you are shuffling your snowboard to safety just to try and get out of this mountain. And that is every snowboard trip. You're welcome. And that's what I experienced. Why did I start talking about that? Kids,
I don't know, but I liked it. It was a journey. It was a full journey. It was kind of cool.
I had a really great time. but yeah, that last run, I was so sure. I was like, nah, I got it now. I felt so confident. I was riding the edge. Oh man, I was it was all bad for like 30 minutes. It was such a big mountain. And it's so clear, you know, how the place you are in mentally impacts the world around you. And you just got to try and be everyone try and be Ron Collin, you know?
Yeah. Be present for the magic around you. Absolutely.
Because it was just beautiful what I was seeing. And I cowabunga'd a guy, you know, for the first time in 40 years, somebody cowabunga'd someone. And that kid was so happy. He was like nervous. And then you got to know the power of your long hair. I'm sure you were all 25-year-old men with long hair in this audience. You got to know the power of having the gear on and having long hair, because that guy thinks you're way better at snowboarding than you are. And then you're like, dude, you're shredding. And he's like, oh, yes. Yes. You know what? He might have spoken French. He might have thought I was harassing him. Who knows? It seemed like he enjoyed it, though.
I think so.
Guys, this week, let's be water and let's vote.
Yeah.
And let's not send our kids to work just because Walmart wants us to.
Yep. Do what's right for your kids, not what's right for Walmart.
Do what's right for your kids, not what's right for Walmart.
But, you know, thank you for keeping us company.
Absolutely. Thank you to Patricia. Thank you to Wendy. Thank you to Ashley. Thank you to Barbie. Thank you to Elizabeth Brewer, dumb name. Thank you to, did I say Wendy already? Thank you to Wendy twice.
Yep. Double Wendy's.
Double Wendy's. Dude, I could go for some Wendy's right now. They don't cut corners.
They don't. They don't.
They don't.
Shall we sing it out?
Let's sing it out.
Okie doke.
See, I sold my soul to the company store. That's what I did. The company store made an offer, and I took other bids, but the company stores was the best offer. And because we live in the society we live in, I had to evaluate the bids on their financial merit and not where I wanted to sell my soul. And so I sold my soul to the company store. I brought it back.
Yeah.